How's everybody doing? It's Joe here from Woopercast, and today we're going to be looking at Raticate Ariados, or, well, Raticate BREAK Ariados to be more specific. This is a deck that's been technically around for the last couple of sets, because Raticate BREAK came out in Tilt Your Heads Now. Oh, you can't even see the set symbol because it's covered up by the little trade icon, but I think it was like Break Point, I want to say. I can't actually remember. It was Breakthrough or Breakpoint. Well, I'm terrible at differentiating between those set symbols. But yeah, this deck's been around for a little bit of a while. Now, it's just kind of a sort of a fun deck that you might bring to League, or not even necessarily Rogue, because it wasn't that good at all. Largely because it lacked consistency. It took ages to get the Raticate break up, and you had no good attacks while you were doing so. But thankfully, we have a new Raticate in format now, and we also have a new Rattata. And these things change everything and make it much more viable to run this card, and make it much easier to play it, because now we have actually good attacks that we can be using while we're trying to build up Super Fang, and also just to fall back on as well. So if we can't get off a Super Fang, we definitely have other options. So what is the deck for those of you completely unaware? So we're running a 4-4-3 line of Raticate Break. If you want to sort of lean to the side, Super Fang does damage. Oh my god, all the pop-ups on my computer. I really have to sort that out. It has 110 HP, which is pretty mediocre. All of our HP is pretty mediocre in this deck, to be honest. But Super Fang puts damage on your opponent's Pokemon until their remaining HP is 10. So if you hit Yveltal-EX with 170 HP, you do 160 damage to it. And of course, the bread and butter combo here is to run it with Ariados, or Ariados, Ariados. God knows how you're meant to pronounce that. I don't know where the emphasis is meant to be, but I'm going to keep saying Ariados, because that sounds right. You can use Poisonous Nest to poison both active Pokemon. So the poison provides the remaining 10 damage, allowing you to technically one-hit KO literally anything in the format. Yeah, the combo is extremely obvious, but there's a few cool quirks that happen as a result of this. So Poisonous Nest is pretty cool because it doesn't kill your opponent during your turn. It kills it in between turns, which essentially means that your opponent cannot play Teammates, because Teammates reads that it has to be killed during my turn, and if it's killed by poison, it's between turns, and therefore you can't play Teammates, which is pretty cool. And I really am a big fan of that, actually. It's nice against other non-EX decks, like things like Gyarados and Vespiquen, when they can't. Well, not Vespiquen, because you can't poison that, but against Gyarados, that does come up. It's pretty fun, actually. So, obviously, that provides the remaining 10, and on top of that, it's easy enough to get up. It's just a 2-2 line. We can level ball for all of these. We run 4 level ball. It's super easy to find. Yeah, and we also get this cool little Spinarak with String Shot, which is actually a really nice attack as well. I really do like these attacks that are just flip a coin if heads paralysis. I'm a big fan of these attacks. I feel like they can get me out of bad situations, and 50 HP is a good number because it means Shaman can't kill us. So yeah, that's the very basic synergy. That's really all you need to know about the core fundamentals of the deck, but what makes it different from past variants that we might have run. So of course we got 4 Raticate. This thing has 2 really great attacks. First of all, 60 HP, I'm aware, is terrible. Please don't expect to win against Greninja, because they can literally use 2 giant water shurikens and still have not, and kill 2 stage 1s and still have not even, attacked for the turn. It's a horrible matchup. It's a really horrible matchup, but whatever. We've got 60 HP. It's normally enough to work with, because it doesn't really matter that we're poisoning ourselves either, because our HP is so low that we just expect to die. And also we can evolve out of the poison, so we don't have to worry about being poisoned ourselves. It's just something you sort of accept with the deck, and it doesn't really provide any issues to us. So anyway, Crunch for 10 does 10 damage and discards an energy. This is fantastic, actually, because previously none of the other parts of the Raticate evolution line actually did base damage. I believe the other one, I have it actually here in physical form with me. Whereas in a Dirty Shock, yeah, it just poisoned them and discarded all tool cards attached to them. Yeah, I mean, technically the poison did provide it, but it still isn't a great attack itself. You still can't use it outside, really, of the whole break thing. And plus, if your opponent's preventing effective attacks or anything like that, it's still not actually doing any damage. So that kind of sucks. The Rattata itself just drew a card and switched to the bench. So again, no base damage whatsoever there. Now we have this. So basically, if we miss the Ariados poison, we do the damage, and the next turn we can follow it up with a Crunch to take the full KO, because obviously 10 is exactly enough to take the KO on whatever we damaged the previous turn, which is pretty great. And discarding an energy is also really good, because A, it synergizes with Shadowy Bite, and B, it allows us to buy some time It means we can Lysandre up stuff and sort of get rid of energy that way. It means it gives us a sort of another win condition. It's a great attack if you're going up against Giratina as well. Plenty of reasons to like this attack. Shadowy Bite, 60 damage times the number of special energy cards in your opponent's discard pile. Not an attack we focus on a huge amount, but a really good attack nonetheless. Also just for one basic energy as well, which means we can just slap a dark on it and keep going with that. I'm a big fan of this attack. It's not something I use every game, and it comes up most against things like Yveltal that do run special energy, but don't run things like special charge or anything like that. That's really, really good. Giratina as well will get screwed over by this attack as we are playing Enhanced Armor. Crunch itself is just inherently good against Giratina. We even have Silent Labs to shut off Magirna if we want to do that. Plenty of ways around this, so two really nice attacks to complement what is already an extremely powerful attack on the break. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this card, as you probably all know by now. Raticate is my favorite Pokemon, so I'm really glad to see we've got a really solid one in the format. And of course we're running 4 of the new Rattata, 40 HP, again, just out of Shaman range, which I like. Most Rattata are only 30 HP, which is terrible for obvious reasons. Mischievous Fang, when you play it from your hand onto your bench, you can discard all tool cards attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. This is great at playing around Bursting Balloon, which otherwise is a big issue for us. Because again, we have 60 HP. So against things like Garchomp, that does come in handy. The Garchomp matchup is nowhere near as bad as you would actually think it would be. Because we are able just to continuously one-shot them over and over again. Because a lot of them don't even play Hex. They just play like 4 Silent Lab. So we're able just to continuously kill them over and over again. We can play around the Bursting Balloons instead with Mischievous Fang. Which is pretty great. I'm a big fan of this ability. It's not something we use super often because we run our own Silent Labs, so we do shut it off sometimes. And also, if our opponent has a Fury Belt on, we don't necessarily want to get rid of it because, put it this way, if our opponent has an Yveltal EX and they don't have a Fury Belt on, we do 160 damage, and then they put a Fury Belt on, they actually go up to 210, and now they have 50 HP left. And I can't use Bite to get the KO, I can't use Crunch to get the KO, I can't use Veil of Darkness to get the KO or anything like that, which is really frustrating. So you kind of want to, if they have a Fury Belt on it and you haven't damaged them yet, you want to leave the Fury Belt on because you don't want them putting another one on. You want to be doing as much damage as possible. And if you hit something with a Fury Belt on, then play the Rattata, you get rid of the Fury Belt, you take a KO free, so that's pretty nice complement to what you've already got going on. Bite for 10 as well does come up. You will be able to take knockouts with this, which is pretty great. The other card I have in here, so that's really I guess these are the core pieces of the deck. Even the Ariados, there's variants you can run without it, but those are the main aspects of the deck and the main things you want to focus on. These are the sort of techie things that I've been throwing in. Meowth has been fantastic. I have loved this card in this deck so far. So he has the attack Turmoil Strike, which, if you pretend to be from Brooklyn, like Meowth is in the anime, sounds really great. It's Turmoil Strike. So if you announce it like that every time, eventually your opponent's going to get very annoyed. But it'll be a lot of fun. So for a double colorless energy, it does 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon that has damage counters already on it. This fixes an awful lot of math for us. So like I was saying about Fury Belts, if you put it on a Yveltal EX, the HP goes up and they have 50 remaining. Turmoil Strike hits exactly 50, so we can follow up with that if we need to. Against Pokemon that evolve, things like Zorua into Zoroark, or Pikachu into Raichu, things like this. Very rarely does a Pokemon evolve and gain more than 40 HP. There are a few exceptions. Even like Gardevoir into Mega Gardevoir, something like this. That's still a 40 HP increase. It gives them 50 remaining HP, and Turmoil Strike will still pick up the KO. The math works out. It's actually really, really nice. The only relevant exception to this is Rayquaza into Mega Rayquaza, because I believe that's 170 to do 20. But we should have a decent enough Rayquaza matchup anyway. So that's really cool. It fixes two really nice issues that the deck can otherwise have. And the other one is Olympia. So if we hit our opponent, and then they play Olympia, and they go to the bench, we can still pick them off, and we still do enough damage to get the KO. Turmoil Strike has been... I've actually announced this quite a bit. It's been really, really helpful for me so far. I really like it. The other card I'm playing is Umbreon-EX. You might think it's for endgame. And yeah, initially I put the card in here because I was like, we bring in a Mega down to 10, and then we end game, and we take 4 prizes, and that's pretty cool. And yeah, I think I've done it once, actually, with this deck. I think I've literally announced end game once, which is surprising to me. I thought I'd do it a bit more, but I don't. So why is the card still in the deck? I really like Veil of Darkness. I really, really like Veil of Darkness. basically, we don't run any discard cards. Like, we got no Shamans in here. We've got no Ultra Balls in here. We don't have ways of getting rid of our junk, especially for late game ends. Being able to take a knockout with Veil of Darkness, because it does have a base damage of 20, so we can still do the damage, which is enough to take a KO. Then we're able to discard cards from our hand and get rid of all the junk that we don't want to get and back into the deck. I use Veil of Darkness quite a bit, actually. It's a really, really nice attack. And I can use it for a DCE or a Dark, which I like. It's got 170 HP, so I can even wall with it if I need to. Starting with it's fine, because it means I can keep drawing cards. Yeah, this thing has actually been putting in the work for reasons that I did not expect. But so far, I'm keeping it in the deck because I really, really like it. And hey, endgame technically can come up, so you may as well give yourself the option. A few other cards you can run here that I will go through in a bit. So, onto the items and supporters. We'll do the items first. I'm running, let's see, no Ultra Ball, like I said. Raticate has 60 HP, Ariados has 70, Meowth has 70. Only things you can't search for are Raticate and Umbreon. We can search out Raticate with Winona, which I'll get onto in a minute, and we don't really search for the Umbreon that much. It's if you'll draw into it at some point, and then it'll be fine. You don't need to go out of your way to get it, really. You can teammates for it if you want, but I don't think I ever have. So we just run 4 Level Ball instead. It makes way more sense. It means we don't have to burn our own resources. I much prefer this. Also running 3 Trainers Mail, 4 VS Seeker, no surprises. 1 Special Charge, because DCE is going to be what we want to be attaching to use Super Fang all the time, so we may as well get as many DCE in the deck as possible. 2 Acro Bike. Not a card I play a lot. I'm not a huge fan of Acro Bike, especially in decks that rely on DCE like this one does. With Special Charge, I feel a lot more comfortable playing Acro Bike. And also because we spend a lot of turns just playing Winona as well. And I like to still draw cards on those turns. On top of that, without running Shaman or Octillery or anything like that, even like things like into a low hand size plus a Garbodor, we can still get out of that by keeping some Acro Bikes in our deck, which I think is really, really cool. So that's why I like the 3-2 going on here. So far it's been putting in the work, and quite frankly, I'd like a 3rd Acro Bike. I just can't find the space right now. So what else we got going on here? 1 Evosoda. This is my way of getting into the break, or Ariados or Raticate. I really, really like this inclusion in the deck. It's been pulling in its weight so far. I started off with 2. I had to cut it to fit in the Winonas, and the Winonas have been so good. They changed the whole structure of the deck, and it was so much for the better. But yeah, I still like the 1 Evosoda just for getting into the break. It does really, really help out. And I guess it is legal. Generation's got the reprint, which is pretty great. 1 Enhanced Hammer. Again, you might think, well, doesn't Raticate's second attack synergize really well with Enhanced Hammer? And yeah, it does, but I think 1 is the correct count. See, your opponent's, ideally not going to be stupid, and they're not obviously going to be dropping a bunch of double colorless on their board. If they think you have an attack that discards energy, you can also one-hit KO literally anything. They're not going to want to be playing their double colorless because they know they're just going to be fueling Shadowy Bite. So running a high count of Enhanced Hammer just works against you that way. And plus, you take while setup, so your opponent can just be setting up by placing basic energies on their Pokemon instead in the meantime. So you kind of don't have to worry about it too much. And it kind of makes Enhanced Hammer just a sort of useless card a lot of the time. It's still really good as a 1 count though, and I still like having a copy of it in here just to sort of surprise get an extra 60 damage down with Shadowy Bite. But I think I'm honestly just better off just running the 1. I think 1 is fine. 2 Super Rods, the last item. You need a lot of recovery in the deck because, you die a lot. You have no HP. But so you need ways to keep recycling stuff back in. The reason I'm not running 1 Rod, 1 Brock is I did have that before, and Brock was fine. It did save me a couple of times. But just having 2 Super Rod is way better if you're running Winona, because the 2 of them synergize perfectly, because you can shovel in 3 pieces with the Rod, and then you can search for them straight back with the Winona. So the 2 of these cards synergize fine, and that's why I don't want Brock, then wait a turn, then Winona for stuff. It's just a lot quicker if we just do it this way. So on to supporters, and I have been talking about Winona a lot. In case you forgot what she does, you search your deck for 3 colorless Pokemon, reveal them, put them into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. It's pretty good. Not a whole lot of uses for this card really outside of this deck, but it's been so good for me. I had 3 originally, and I'd still like a 3rd, but I think 2 is fine. You don't need it turn 1. It's because you still have 4 Level Ball in addition to this. So in the early turns, you just want to be getting out Rattatas and Raticates. You don't even really need a Spinarak down until turn 2, because it'll be turn 3 by the time you get a breakup, and by that time you can go Spinarak Ariados. So it doesn't even matter that much. But I enjoy having the Winona just to search out for the breaks, just to explode onto the board and get a bunch of Rattatas and Raticates down and start going from there. It really, really does help out, and it's made it so much easier to just consistently stream Raticate breaks, as opposed to have to like get one up, get killed, and then sort of sit back with Veil of Darkness or something for a little while, or String Shot, and try and build up another one. It's just so much quicker just to go Winona, Winona, Winona over and over again with VS Seekers, and keep spamming those Pokemon onto the field like you want to be. It also means you can save your level balls for Ariados pieces, which is kind of cool. And you can also search out Meowth with Winona. I don't think I ever have. I always level ball for it, and I don't think I've ever Winona'd for it. But there you go. 1 Teammates as well. Originally I had 2. Again, Winona took a place. If you really don't want to play Winona, you have to play 2 Teammates, no question. I think a lot of the time I was like, I want 3 things with Teammates, as opposed to just 2. But you still absolutely need to run it. You get killed all the time. Like from turn 2 onwards, this card is just active constantly, so you need to play it. Because why wouldn't you? Teammates for Faded Town DCE happens quite a bit, I have to say, which is pretty cool. So yeah, no, there's no reason not to run this thing. For Sycamore 3N, I think the 3rd N is important in a deck that does not run Shamans, and also a deck that doesn't want to discard a lot of its resources unnecessarily. I'm still playing a 2nd Lysandre. You could, I'm probably being a bit greedy here. You could probably just go down to 1 and make room for a 3rd Acro Bike if you're worried about consistency, but I really like the 2nd one because we do have the power to kill literally anything, and that combined with Lysandre can just win you games. So I don't want to lose a game because I couldn't find Lysandre. I want to know that it's there, and that's why there's 2 there. On to the stadiums. I got 2 splits. One is 2 Faded Town. So you might think, what's the point? You have Ariados. An awful lot of Mega decks have ways to prevent Ariados' ability from working. So, like, Mega Mewtwo runs Garbodor. Scizor can run Garbodor, or just Hex Maniac, or just 2 Hex Maniac even. Turbo Gardevoir runs, multiple Hex Maniac and is very, very good at spamming them over and over again. Same thing goes for Mega Ray. That can sort of switch to a variant that does that kind of stuff too. Point is, a lot of Mega decks have ways to stop Ariados, or they just Lysandre up Ariados and kill it. Sometimes people think they're safe if they do that, because they're like, oh no, there's no way to one-shot me next turn. And they think that's cool, but actually you can punish that really heavily, because you can just get another Spinarak out. They haven't targeted down one of your Raticates, so you're safe with those, which is always good. And you can still take the KO by just getting a Faded Town out. This thing has been pulling its weight so much. I think 1 is cool, but I think if you want to start consistently winning games against Megas, you need the 2nd copy in here. So that's why I went for the 2-2 split. Otherwise, I'd just be running 3 Silent Labs, because the ability to run 3 Silent Lab and not be hurt at all is so good. Yeah, it shuts off Rattata. We don't even play Rattata that much. Like I said, usually early game you just Winona for an unholy amount of them, or you level ball for them. So they're on your board like turn 1 anyway, so you don't really get a whole load of use out of them. But Silent Lab's here anyway. It's just so good at slowing your opponents down, and you want to be slowing people down because, you got to bring them down to your pace. We're not the fastest deck in the world. You may have guessed. And it's great as well for like late game ends. When your opponent's taking a bunch of prizes and you're behind, because you will go behind on prizes with this deck, it plays a lot like Greninja Break actually. Just instead of water duplicates, we have Winona. So, you want to be punishing people like that by playing Silent Lab N to 3 or something like that. That can get you out of some bad situations for sure. So we got 4 Dark and 4 Double Colorless and 1 Float Stone. This was just 4 DC and 5 Dark, but I was like, I'm always manually retreating. Let's just cut one of the Darks for Float Stone, because usually I just attach retreat. So I figured this made way more sense. But yeah, I think the energy game's fine. You want to be focusing on these mostly. These are great for using Veil, Endgame, String Shot, Bite, Crunch, Shadowy Bite. You even have the opportunities to power up Turmoil Strike with them if you want, so it's fine. I think the energy split's absolutely grand. And yeah, that's the deck. I'm going to go into a few other options that you can run, just in case you're worried about a few things. The first one's pretty cute. It doesn't work. I tried it. It doesn't work. But I know someone out there is watching this video like, oh, maybe. No, it doesn't work, people. Psywave on Natu. So it does 10 damage times the number of energy on your opponent's active Pokemon. And has the Delta Plus trait, so you take an extra prize card. So obviously it's a bit like Endgame. You do the damage, and then if your opponent has 1 energy on it, Natu's hitting enough to take the KO. Which is pretty cool, I admit. And if you actually put a Fury Belt on this thing, I'm pretty sure it can hit like 100 damage against a Mega Mewtwo, because you hit it for weakness. But the thing is, like, if you're crunching, or your opponent is smart, what they'll do is they'll just manually retreat their active, so that it has no energy on it, so that you can't Psywave it, because now your base damage is 0. Also, just having to power it up with 2 energy is kind of annoying as well. You have to cut the Umbreon. Technically, you don't have to cut the Umbreon, but you have to cut the Dark Energy at least, so yeah, I don't know, I think... And 40 HP means you can't wall out with it either. I'm not a huge fan of it. I tried it for a bit, just didn't really pull its weight. What was the other option there? Something like Spinda as well. So the idea that you do 10 damage to everything, and like you leave like a bunch of things on 10 remaining HP. Spinda can come in and finish them off. That's kind of cute. It makes your Gyarados matchup like stupid good. You even have Silent Lab to deal with Mr. Mime if you need to, which is pretty great. But if you want to make your Gyarados matchup even better, you run this. No, I don't have it. Yeah, there we go. This guy. So Sparkle Motion works in the same way, but it's put 1 damage counter, so you get around Mr. Mime anyway, because he only prevents damage, not placing damage counters. And also you have that cool Leap Through Time ability, where flip a coin, if heads, your opponent takes no prizes, and the Celebi goes straight back in your deck. This is pretty cute. It's not something I'm a huge fan of, because I think this attack is pretty limited in what it can do, and unless you have actually somehow set up your opponent's board where everything is just 10 HP remaining, or where even one thing has just 10 HP remaining and they've retreated it, it's rarely going to be more than 1 or 2 things. 2 if you're lucky. So I think situations where this thing's useful is kind of... It does not come up as often as you would think it would. Like, it's way more often that your opponent's sitting with something on the bench that has more than 10 HP remaining because they played Winona or Fury Belt or something like that, and that's why the Meowth is, I think, in practice, a hell of a lot better than the Celebi. Although the ability is really cool, I will grant it that. Is there any other options that I thought of for this thing? There probably were, and I can't think of off the top of my head. Ah, yeah, the other one's Jirachi. So, it works in the same way that the Enhanced Armor kind of works, is that you get rid of Special Energy, you fuel Raticate's second attack, but you also do 10 damage. So you can come in and do the remaining 10 damage, and then be like, you're invincible the next turn if you get rid of Special Energy. So like you take the knockout because you do 10 base damage, but the invincibility thing still works because you got rid of a Special Energy. I mean, that can come up again. I think it's a bit niche, but it's fun to pull off if you can get it. I think a better option, and probably a cuter option for invincibility, is Sneasel. You can Yan Roll. Yan Roll is a really great attack. I love these flip a coin attacks. I'm a sucker for all these pre-evolution flip a coin attacks. But yeah, 10 base damage. So you take the knockout and then flip a coin if heads, you're invincible next turn. That's so cool, and it can buy you a turn if you want. I haven't tested this yet. I want to though. I think it's pretty fun. So if you can find room, go for Sneasel. It's cool. Yeah, I believe that was it. The other thing you can run obviously is like, I think the other variant of this deck would be where you take out the Ariados altogether and you just run 4 Crushing Hammers, and then you find room for like Team Flare Grunts and stuff like that, and you put a lot of focus on Crunch, and you just sort of accept that you're only going to be 2-shotting things with Super Fang. I think that's sort of another route you could take with this, but for now I'm happy with the Poison thing. In terms of matchups, I think the only auto loss you have is Greninja. Greninja's horrible. Like, they kill your Raticates in 1 hit without even attacking. They can Shadow Stitching to shut off Ariados and still take knockouts. It's just horrible. Just don't play against Greninja. And if they run Rough Seas, you're just screwed. Like, it's just awful. Don't play against Greninja with this. But other than that, Like Mega Gardevoir, I think you can beat, especially with 2 Faded Town. I think it's very, very beatable. Mega Rayquaza, again, same thing goes for that. It's a very similar matchup. Except in Mega Rayquaza, you can pick off Shaymins, which becomes a... it's a weird deck because it's actually like killing a Mega Rayquaza is just as easy as killing a Shaymin. Although sometimes you don't want to attack into a base Rayquaza because they can just evolve out of it. So you still have the option to Lysandre up in that case, which is pretty fun. The other thing you can do, other matchups then against Volcanion, I think it's winnable. If you run a third Silent Lab, it's very in your favor. I've made the space. I'm not sure if this is correct. I'd love a third Silent Lab in here. And if you have one, you're on a very, very good, gonna have a very good time against Volcanion, I think. Veltal, again, is a really good matchup. Fright Knight doesn't hurt you at all, since we can manually retreat everything for just 1 energy. Don't play the Umbreon in that matchup, obviously. Yeah, Fright Knight doesn't hurt you at all. You one-shot it. You can actually tank a hit from Fright Knight as well, which is pretty great. If they're setting up an EX, you're winning the prize trade. Shadowy Bite, and that's not Raticate. Shadowy Bite actually puts in a ton of work against that too, because like I said, they run 4 DCE, but no way to recycle them. So you actually have a pretty good matchup against that. What else? What else off the top of my head? Mega Mewtwo. Picking off the Garbodor can be nice. You don't need to, though, if you're running the second Faded Town, because obviously this works too. Which is really, really great. On top of that, like, if you pick up the Garbodor and you've got Poisonous Nest going, like, you're just fine. You're just good to go. You can stall with Crunch as well for a little bit to get that going too. Damage Swap can screw you over, obviously, but you know, you can play around it. You can take 1-hit KOs. The second Faded Town is so good. What else? Off the top of my head, Giratina. Giratina is a really, really easy matchup. The only thing that can cause you problems is if they lock your special energy. You do still have these, and you can recycle them all with your 2 Super Rods, so that's fine. The Magearna can be a problem if they're running that, but we do have 2 Silent Lab. If you can get it down before Chaos Wheel comes up, you're good. But also, one way to play around Magearna is if you Enhanced Hammer off the Double Dragon, they no longer have any metal energy attached to them, and then you can crunch away the Double Colorless. So you have options there as well. Yeah, I think it's a solid enough matchup. And again, in almost every game, you're going to be forcing them to go through like 6 non-EXs. And that's tough for pretty much anything. So anyway, that was a really long analysis of Raticate. Timestamps will have been there to direct people straight to the games if that's what they want to watch. But I'm going to hop into a game now. So let's go to the versus ladder. Okay, so this is Mega Mewtwo. Cool. Yeah, we can tell by the coin. This is Mega Mewtwo. That's fine. That's fine. I'll take that matchup. Ash Savior. Alright, we win the coin flip. Obviously, we want to go first. So, hopefully I get to show off the Faded Towns. We start Umbreon, that's fine. For a few reasons. A, we resist Psychic, so we do force him to have a few more energy than he normally would, which is nice. And Veil of Darkness can get us into some things, which is cool. So, yeah, that's Mewtwo. I'm under no illusions that that's Mewtwo. The coin was the giveaway. This is why I use Sylveon sleeves on every deck. Not just because they look really pretty. Oh, and the Winona turn 1. And the Rattata. Excellent stuff. Alright, so is he playing Garb or not? Yeah, he's probably playing Garb. I would like to attach just so I have the option to manually retreat. I don't need to do that yet, though. Winona for a Winona for 2 Rattata and Eradicate, and then I save the Level Ball? Yeah, I think that's fine. I probably could play N there, but what can you do? We can check our prizes this way. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got all our Rattata. Meowth is there. All of the Rat pieces are there. Both of the Ariados are prized. Oh man, I hope he is playing Garbodor. And one of the Faded Town. And one of the Faded Town. Okay, well, we're going to need to be really, really careful about how we take these prizes. I wish I had Town Map right about now. Oh, man. Okay, the announce timer's there. That's nice, I suppose. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Okay, well, we can Rattata and Rattata and Rattata. And the next time we can go Kate, and yeah. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah, we're fine to attach this. We got the resistance. We can hold out for a little bit. Okay, yeah. Go on. Shatter shot for 10, boy. What? He's going to shatter shot for 10? Oh, we don't even need that. That's pretty great. That's pretty fantastic. We're not playing this end, though. That's for damn sure. Alright. Yeah, level ball for Raticate. Who needs Ariados? The weird thing is we can't even like rush to KO him because this is our board. I don't feel like playing any of these supporters. Might Veil of Darkness away the N, just so if he does play his own N, we have it in the discard pile. But on the other hand, I'll do the Veil of Darkness, obviously. And I'm gonna just click done. I'm not gonna discard anything. I think it's safer we just keep this. Okay, this shrine. Please tell me he got a supporter. Oh, it's a supporter. And he can take the knockout. Okay, he can start doing things. He can start doing things. He did have N. So, I'm very confused as to why he didn't play that. Going for the Trubbish. His best tactic may just be don't Mega Evolve. Why are both of the Ariados prized? I really hope he Mega Evolves. I really hope he does. Because if not, we're in for a very frustrating game. And we may have to start using bites to put pressure on him. And I think I'm going to start using Crunch to put pressure on him. Because if I don't, he just damage changes next turn. Yeah, we have to start crunching. That's not good. Okay. What do I want to hit off these? Probably VS Seeker for another Winona. Do I even though? I just want to hit a level ball. I think I might hold that. I would like a break, that's for damn sure. So actually VS Seeker for Winona doesn't sound like a bad idea. Why do you curse me so, Acro Bike? I will take Faded Town. At least I don't have to reveal it. Okay, we got the VS Seeker, so we'll do that. Now we can just go break, and that means that I don't think he can kill this next turn unless he does Mega Evolve. So, we're not in bad shape. We're not in bad shape. We're going to grab this, and 2 breaks. The power of Winona. And like I say, I'm just going to go for Crunch. It's way safer than going for the other attack. Forget what it's called. I can Bite because they're trying to... That's funny. That's funny. Okay, we're just going to Crunch. He can just damage swap if I do the other attack, so... I think this is correct for now. We're going to try and force him to Mega Evolve this. I should have crunched last turn in hindsight. The Lysandre's out of this, man. I think my best course of action is just to get rid of the energy, yeah. Sure, why don't you join the party, Spinarak? I will, N. I'll end to 4. Because if he can miss an attachment, that'd be super good for us. Yeah, there's the Silent Lab. Special Charge active? Nah, I'll wait for one more. Crunch. This is not how this matchup is supposed to go, but also my Ariados are not supposed to be prized. Well, there's the Garbodor. but no tool. This is a weird game, I tell you that. Okay, he's got the Spirit Link. So, he does play the Mega. Float Stone. If this is Sycamore, holy crap. My ends just don't work. Alright, he can Mega Evolve and take the KO. And I kind of want him to. Because then it puts Faded Town online, and I really want Faded Town online. Yeah, there's the KO. Okay. Puts us in a bit of a difficult position, but I think I'm going to send up Umbreon, and just, because I got the Float Stone in hand, so I may as well. Yeah. Okay, now it's time we're not online. That's bad. And in the discard pile. That's good. Special Charge in hand. Also good. Right. Super Rod. Get these things back. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Floats on that. Yeah, we'll leave the Spinarak, obviously. Maybe we'd be better with no to that turn, but my plan here is DCE Faded Town, which is super unlikely. We got Level Ball for Raticate, Rattata, which I like too. Okay, so there's the Rattata. I am going to Acro Bike. And I'll take the Super Rod. Now we could go with a string shot here. I'm not sure about how I feel about my odds there. How many shrines you gone through? Because if we can get rid of 2 shrine, we can feel fairly comfortable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, minus to 140. Yeah, we're fine to do this. So I think I'm going to veil away an N. Because I'm not a huge fan of that. Although, no, I should veil away the Sycamore. Should have veiled it all. He's got 2 prizes left. That's so annoying. 3 prizes left, I mean. We fell way behind in this game. I think I'm going to veil away these 2 and then Super Rod it back in. Yeah, that sets me up for a pretty good turn next turn. That's Ariados being prized set me back so far. Has he got the unholy number of Nuzons available to him? Oh, he does. Oh, he's not going to go for it, though. Sigh of relief. So now our ends start getting very good. Maybe I should have held on to mine, but I digress. Psychic Infinity for not a KO. I'm happy with that. Alright, so now we just got to hit Faded Town. Let's see, 1/1/1 in the discard pile means that makes way more sense. But I want to give myself access to more breaks throughout the game, so I'm going to go for this. Yep. And Sicky Ziggy. Faded Town, we did it. Okay, we did it. So I'm going to drop this. Retreat into Raticate. Faded Town. And now we hopefully set him far quite back. That sentence words. Super Fang. Whew. Not the ideal start to the game. Please give me the other Faded Town. No. Okay, we got to take a KO somehow. Meowth, your time has come. We should be safe enough here. Like, unless he Lysandre's up Spinarak, I don't think he can take a KO. 30. Actually, he can't even do that. Okay, this is shrine number 2. In our discard pile, we've gone through one of those. Okay, cool. So, if we get our other Silent Lab out, we can counter that shrine, and then we should be safe from damage swap for the rest of the game. Because most Mewtwo players don't run more than one of those. I like this hand. I really like this hand. I'm just going to Shadow Shot for 30. We're now in a great position. A fabulous position, even. And this is where we start crunching. We get teammates in the discard pile. We still got 2 VS Seekers left. I like this. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with this. So we fell behind, but we've come back. Playing the Silent Lab. Get rid of that. I put on so much pressure if I go for Shadowy Bite, though. Oh, how greedy am I feeling? I could have Level Ball for Rat first, and then Shadowy Bite it. Gone for Shadowy Bite, and that would have been way smarter, actually, because now I can't use Rattata's ability. Misplays. What can you do? I still want it on the field, though. Man. How ballsy am I feeling? Okay, he's not just another one that's 60. Like, yeah, he can evolve Psychic Infinity KO. Is he running 3 Shrine? That's my question. No, I think we need to Super Fang here. Yeah, no, we have to Super Fang, because even if I crunch, what do I do the turn after that? So we go for the 160. And he's only got 210, right? So even if he does Mega Evolve here, I can go VS Seeker for Meowth DCE. I'm pretty sure I have some DCEs left. Yeah, I have 2 DCEs left. So if he goes for the Mega Evolution here, we're actually in a really good place. In fact, if he goes for Mega Evolution, I can end game. There's the Olympia. Oh, is the Meowth play going to come into play? Come on, Meowth. I really want this Meowth to come off. If he goes Meowth Mega, that could be an issue. Ooh, he's going to Sky Return, though. Going to Garbodor. Mate, if we get the Meowth. 130, 180. Meowth would do it. I can VS Seeker for Winona to get the Meowth. We did it, boys. We did it, boys. Oh my god. The hype. I am going to take this. Does it make more sense to play it? No. No, it does not. We're going to Winona. We're going to do this in style. And I'll just take everything available to me. Attach that. Whew. I cannot believe I got to show this off. I'm so happy. And Toymoil Strike. It actually worked, lads. Oh my god, and there's the Faded Town. This is it. That's a win. That's a win. I think we're in a really good position anyway. These last 2 prizes are freaking Ariados, but oh man. We pulled it off. We're not out of the woods yet, but he hasn't got any attackers, so I'm feeling pretty confident. These last 2 prizes are Ariados. What a game we've had. Okay, he goes into Shaman. He's going to start Shaman looping me. Okay, so we got to pull up Garbodor. Alright, how do we beat this? We could start using Shrink Shot. pull up Garbodor and go for an attack. How many... Has he got any special energy in the discard pile? No. Okay. We can N to 3 from 19. Yeah, I think that's okay. How many DCE we got left? 1, 2, 3. There should be 1 left in deck. I'm going to level ball to thin out. There's 1 left in deck. Cool. And 2 darks, so we're fine. Oh, man. Okay. Our win condition now, I think, is just N. And go for Shadowy Bite, yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Yes, I know what N does. That's actually a decent N. I know we're burning an awful lot of our own double colorless here. And I probably should have held that Float Stone, but... So we're going to go for... Super Fang. Yep, let's do it. Why are the last 2 prizes Ariados? Okay, he's going to Ultra Ball for the other Shaman. Well, he can't play it, obviously, because Garbodor. But that card might be Sycamore. Oh, it's a Mewtwo. Is he just going to retreat to it? If he does, I can Sycamore and then... Oh, no, we got it. We did it, lads. Whew. That was a tense game. That was the 2 prizes. Oh my god. What a game. I thought we were done for. I really thought we were done for. But we showed off everything. Everything. Except Ariados. Oh man. Maybe town map in this deck then, I suppose. I'm not sure. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That game was so good. I'm really happy we got a good game to show off. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed. I will be back with more stuff. I think the next deck I'm going to do is Mega Pidgeot. I've got some weird builds going for that, and I enjoy playing them. I'm not sure how good it is, but I think it's just a highly conceptual card anyway, so we need to play around with it a bit. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on about my favorite rat buddies for quite some time. And I will see you next time.